Girl who cried crisis and the town that finally stopped listening. The thing about small-town gossip is that it travels faster than a grease fire in a crowded kitchen, and at Lincoln High, no one knew how to light that match better than Chloe Miller. Chloe didn't just want attention, she needed it, like it was oxygen. One week she'd show up in a neck brace because of a freak yoga accident, and the next, she'd be limping down the hallway, claiming she'd been bitten by a rare, venomous spider that only exists in the Amazon. We all knew she was full of it, but in a town where the most exciting thing to happen is a sale at the hardware store, people tuned in anyway. It was a Tuesday, right in the middle of third period lunch, when the vibe shifted. The double doors of the cafeteria swung open, and Chloe's mom, Mrs. Miller, came speed-walking in. Now, Mrs. Miller was usually the type to avoid eye contact, but today, she looked distraught. She marched straight up to the principal's table, her face pale as a ghost, and whispered something to Mr. Henderson. Mr. Henderson's face went stone cold. He stood up, grabbed the megaphone used for pep rallies, and his voice cracked just a little as he called Chloe's name. The entire cafeteria went dead silent. You could literally hear the hum of the vending machines. Chloe stood up, looking confused, and walked toward them. Her mom grabbed her by the shoulders, whispered a few words into her ear, and it happened. Chloe let out this, shattering, bone-chilling scream. It wasn't one of her usual look-at-me squeals. This was raw. It sounded like her soul was being ripped out through her teeth. She collapsed right there on the linoleum floor, clutching her chest, sobbing so hard she started hyperventilating. Her mom didn't even help her up, she just grabbed her by the arm and practically dragged her out the side exit while Chloe kept wailing, "Why him? Please, not him." The silence that followed was heavy. We're talking, thick. By fifth period, the rumor mill was turning at 1,000 miles per hour. Someone said they saw an ambulance heading toward the Miller's house. Someone else claimed they heard Chloe's older brother, the star quarterback who'd moved away for college, had been in a massive pileup on the interstate. By the next morning, the story had morphed into a full-on tragedy. The official word among the students was that Chloe's brother had been killed by a drunk driver, and her dad was in the ICU on life support. The school went into full sympathy mode. We held a moment of silence before the morning announcements. The art club spent 3 hours making a Stay Strong CHLOE banner that covered half the gym wall. We even started a GoFundMe to help with unforeseen expenses. I'm talking, $5,000 raised in 48 hours. People were crying in the hallways, people who didn't even like Chloe. She was gone for a full week. No one could reach her. Her social media went dark, which, for Chloe, was the ultimate sign of the apocalypse. Then, on Monday morning, she walked back in. She was wearing all black. Large, dark sunglasses. She walked with her head down, clutching a single rose. The hallway parted like the Red Sea. Everyone was whispering, "I'm so sorry, and we're here for you, girl." Principal Henderson called her into the office to give her the bag of cards and the check from the GoFundMe. He sat her down, placed a hand on hers, and said, "Chloe, we are all so heartbroken over the loss of your brother. Please, tell us, when is the service?" Chloe looked up, pulled her sunglasses down to the bridge of her nose, and blinked. "What service?" she asked, her voice perfectly flat. Mr. Henderson cleared his throat. "For your brother, the accident? We heard. Well, we all saw you in the cafeteria, we thought." Chloe let out a long, dramatic sigh. "Oh, that," she said, leaning back in her chair. "My mom came to the school because my brother's vintage, limited edition, signed poster of The Dark Knight fell off his wall at home. The frame shattered. It's irreplaceable, Mr. Henderson." I thought my heart would literally stop. The principal just sat there. His mouth was open, but no words were coming out. "And your brother?" he finally managed to squeak out. "Oh, he's fine," Chloe shrugged, checking her nails. "He's in Florida for spring break. He doesn't even know yet. I've been staying home to, mourn the loss of the aesthetic in my room. It's been traumatic." She reached out, grabbed the $5,000 check, tucked it into her purse, and walked out of the office to go buy a new pair of designer boots. That was the last time anyone in that school ever shed a tear for Chloe Miller, even when she actually did accidentally set the chemistry lab on fire 2 months later. We just sat there, eating our sandwiches, watching the smoke rise, and waiting for the bell to ring.